You may have seen two giant robots fighting on the internet recently. That was Megabots versus Karatas, and I am here with David Isaacs, the head of league development for Megabots Inc., which is going to be starting a robot fighting league that I would like to know much more about, and also Megabots Inc.'s VP of Business Development, Jake Kuzarak. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the fight, and then we'll talk about the league. So how do you guys feel at Megabots Inc. about the very first Mega Robot fight?
First of all, it's amazing to have been able to bring this to people. We have so many people coming up to us and saying, thank you for making my childhood dreams come true. And a lot of people realize how much technology, how much R&D went into this. So it's really amazing to us to have finally been able to pull it off.
Yeah, and winning was nice.
Winning is always, always good. So you are in charge of the league and its development. Could you tell us a little bit about how you plan the league to sort of work? Because giant fighting robots are a lot different than, say, football.
The idea is really that we have teams. Teams can come from individual cities, teams can come from companies, and teams can come from other countries. And we're going to bring them all together and have fights here in the United States in arenas and around the world have tournaments.
Awesome. So if, in terms of the very first fight, if there was anything that you guys at Megabots could do differently, is there anything that you would have changed, or is there anything based on maybe feedback from the internet or just internally, is there anything you guys would have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, we really wanted to host it here in the US. I think that's kind of one of the big things.
And I think another thing is, you know, obviously for people, they have different expectations when they think about giant robot fightings. They've been looking at CGI.
Of course.
And I think people, I like the people that actually looked at our videos before and really knew what they were getting into. It is super hard to pull off giant robot fighting. And what we did really for people who understand the technology is amazing. We had a tremendous number of viewers who saw it. So I think we're proud and excited what we did. And I think it's just the start. It's just the minimum viable product. It's just the proof of concept, and we go from there.
Will there be a rematch of Megabots and Karatas? Do you think that would be a thing that we might see?
Never say never, but I think we are thinking forward, moving on from Karatas.
Different competitors. So far, do you guys have a specific list of competitors, or what types of teams or people do you look for? How does anybody even get involved if they want to build a mega robot? Maybe they have one in their backyard and they're like, I'd really like to be involved in this league.
So we have, I think, 21 applications right now to participate in this league.
Wow.
And we have to vet them because we know how hard it is to build giant robots. And frankly, there are a number of them that we're like, well, they may build a giant robot, but it might take them 5 years. But what we're trying to do is figure out who actually has the technical capability, the financial wherewithal to pull this off, and then let them go build robots and compete against us in our league. We are going to produce more robots, so we see ourselves as actually producing many, many robots that we can brand differently, and we can produce them for other team owners. So imagine a little bit. So we see that as part of it, and we also see other teams coming in and bringing their robots. You may have seen Monkey King from China challenging us. We've had a lot of interesting challengers. For us now, that part of it is to figure out, you know, who's for real and who can show up at an arena at a specific date and really fight. And as part of that, as part of the development, we need rules and procedures and regulations. And so that's really what we've been working on, was seeing what worked, what didn't work as well as we'd like, what things do we need to, and how do we set that up so that we have fair but really exciting fights.
Yeah. One of the things I thought was really interesting that a lot of people on the internet were bummed out about was not being able to be there in person to watch the fights. And obviously there is an element of danger involved. You never know how a robot part is going to fly off if it gets hit or if something malfunctions. How do you keep people safe but enable them to sort of watch these things? Or will they be a little bit more pre-recorded and packaged in a really professional way? Like, is there a plan either way forward?
We are heading towards live.
Yeah,
great.
That's really the plan. And I think very shortly you will see announcements from us really that will make clear exactly how quickly we're planning to get there.
Yeah.
Great. So some people have suggested that pilotless robots might be more exciting in terms of the damage the robots could do to each other, because obviously you don't want to put a human person in danger piloting these robots, even though it was dangerous for them to be piloting them in the first place, even though you made it as safe as possible. Is that a consideration? Where do you think that maybe the league will have rules about you must have a human pilot, or maybe there doesn't need to be one?
Go ahead.
I think we love this idea, and frankly, it's something we're testing. We have, 2 robots, so we are playing with some formats. We're trying out different combinations of manned versus unmanned, just to see how it goes. And we want our fans to respond. We want to hear what they have to say, what they want to see, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to deliver.
I mean, personally, someone who helped start the UFC, I like the human element inside the robot, but safety is a primary concern.
Sure.
And so I think we have to balance those. And so it may be that we have 2 different classes of robots with 2 different types of fighting. It may be that it's a developmental process where we move from unmanned to manned robots. But we're still in the really early stages of this. We do want to make sure nobody gets seriously hurt. And
Sure.
and when you see the size and the speed of these robots up like in person, you understand this is heavy equipment and moving very quickly. We need to do things in a proper manner to make sure people really don't get hurt.
So you mentioned UFC, and you are one of the co-founders of UFC. You did that for a really long time. Did you just wake up one morning and decide, you know what, fighting robots is the future? I'm going to go with that. What makes fighting robots more compelling than fighting humans?
I don't know if they're more compelling. I think there's a similarity, though, between when we first started the UFC and people saw it and said, I can't believe I'm allowed to see that. And when they see giant robots fighting for real, I think they think to themselves, I imagined that this might exist at some point, but I didn't know I would ever get to see it for real. And that's what's really exciting for me. It's kind of like the next level giant fighting robots.
And people really love giant fighting robots. I know that
sure.
you guys did some great things on your Twitch channel. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that, Jake?
Yeah, we did. We actually had the largest non-gaming stream, largest following since 2015. So huge accomplishment for us.
A million viewers, actually.
Million viewers total, yeah, well over that. Twitch is definitely going to be kind of our platform for putting a lot of live content out there, doing a lot of tests, doing a lot of weird demos. We'll start doing that starting this week.
So check us out on Twitch at Megabots Inc.
Yeah.
Sweet. And then last question, if you had to choose 2 fictional robots to face off against each other, your dream matchups, what would they be? Jake, what about you?
That's a hard one. I mean, it's one we talk about at the office, but I think, honestly, I just saw Blade Runner, so maybe a Ryan Gosling bot versus the girl from Ex Machina. That'd be pretty cool. Pretty evenly
Oh, I
matched.
like it. That does seem evenly matched.
It's a sexy fight.
That would be, it'd be like not only for just robot supremacy, it would be also who is the most attractive, Ryan Gosling. I mean, that's a great one. I like that. What about you, David?
Yeah, I'm not as interested in a fair matchup. So I'd probably take kind of a David versus Goliath approach. So maybe one of the Gundam bots, maybe Gun Tank or something like that, versus maybe the Arnold Schwarzenegger T-1000, the Terminator robot. So let's see what happens when kind of a more humanoid form robot takes on a giant robot, and let's see how he takes him out.
It's a very compelling sports story. You seem like you know what you're doing. So I'm really excited to see what Megabots has going on. You guys can check out Megabots online. They're megabots.com. You can see all of our YouTube videos. You can go to the Twitch channel. I mean, there's a million ways to find them on the internet. We will be keeping tabs on Megabots. Put your ultimate robot showdowns in the comments, and we will see you guys next time. Be good humans.